Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shiva Sadeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shiva Sadeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shiva Sadeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shiva Sadeva Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana.
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Mohana,
Hare Krishna,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama,
Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Hari Bol Krishna. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Shila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Shila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Tarife. Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Haribol, namaste, Haribol. So, good morning everyone. Let's continue our study program that we had left yesterday. So, now, real-time situation, we are in these trying times wherein we have this pandemic and the process is the process that will stop or help us not be contaminated with this virus. One, because there's no vaccine as of now. So it's about taking care of our health, having this immune system that strong. So it means our lifestyle, our habits, and cleanliness, and not only that, social distancing, and using all these gadgets or these masks, so we will not be contaminated by the virus coming from different individuals who were contaminated, either asymptomatic or those who have virus already, that they are experiencing this effect upon their body. So when one gets this coronavirus 19, what happens is his lungs gets destroyed and water comes in. So he has a hard time breathing. So the reason I wanted to discuss this is to show to us that when there's disease like this pandemic disease, coronavirus 19, there are symptoms. And the effect, if we cannot survive, then we have to pass away because the body gets destroyed. So the living entity, us, by nature, we are not this body. We are a different energy. But because of material disease, material contamination, we have become conditioned to think we are this body. We now dwell in the world of this material virus, the disease that has covered us. We become so conditioned, thinking we are matter, we are this body. Because we have been here for so long. And the symptoms are there, just like when someone has this COVID-19 disease or virus destroying his lungs. He cannot breathe properly. His fever is very high. and blood comes out of his nose. His temperature, the temperature in his body is so high, he goes delirium. And when he cannot breathe, they put a respirator. And the chance for survival is 10%. But the doctor here in our place, that's why in the Philippines, our president made it that there's a law here, a presidential decree, that 1-year-old to 19 years old should not go out and just roam around. And senior citizen bodies like I have now are not allowed to go out of their house because they are susceptible to this virus. So the subject matter that we're discussing now is about the disease of materialism. The symptoms are there. Even though one eats so much, eat and eat and eat, watch movies, gather so many material things, look for a beautiful wife or a handsome husband, be stable in this material world. But these symptoms of anticipation, always worrying, that you cannot get and hold on to what you have, and if you cannot get it, now you struggle hard, and in anticipation, you're always anxious, stressful. Driven by the desire in the mind, focus upon gathering all these material elements. When one is conditioned, he thinks it's the body, the material element that he wants. It's the form of, for example, a young man, he wants the form of that element that makes that beautiful form according to his desire. But since everyone is an individual, we have different likes and dislikes. So my point is this: after working so hard and in anticipation, we get what we want, relatively speaking, then there's this anxiety that what if we lose it? Then when we lose it, then anxiety. So the symptoms are there. The different miseries. And the person, the individual, is in the middle of this storm. Or my Gurudev gave an example that a person is like a boat in this washing machine, and then it's on and it goes on and thrill around the water in the boat. So the living entity, who is by nature transcendental, who is covered by this material disease, his focus is trying to go after the desire, to fulfill the desire in the mind. And the experience, the symptoms are there. Frustration, he experienced loneliness, he's always worried, and that is exemplified like when you see this bar. A person who has been so engaged, so covered by material disease, he ends up so much frustrated. His wife leaves him. His sons are all drug addicts. He's kicked out of the job, after struggling so hard to be on the top of the dog pile. He wants to become the top dog, and after that, he's kicked out from his job. Especially now, it's this pandemic. A lot of companies are closed, and a lot of individuals are put out of work. So he goes to this bar. Yes, and he is carrying the disease. this materialistic consciousness. And what resonates from him, what is clearly revealing is when he sits down there and the bar guy who gives this, there's a lot of, panacea there, different brandies and wines there, alcohol, to numb the senses. But in this case, he sits down and a lot of people there dancing and everybody there sitting down. He goes to this barman and tells him. And the barman is always there, he sits down there, always, really placating, condensing, and just talk to me. Tell me your worries. I'm here to listen. I'm all ears to your miserable, experience. I'm here. I'm all ears. While you're trying very hard to get out of this misery, to get out of this disease. You're very lonely, you're very miserable. And then the first order is, give me a brandy. At least 99% alcohol. No lemon. I like to taste the bitter taste that it can cover this bitterness in my heart. This brandy that's so strong to numb my senses. And then he drinks. It's so bitter. He's trying very hard to cover up the bitterness in his heart, the emptiness in his heart, the pain in his heart. But the more he drinks, and he tells his story to this barman. My wife left me, I worked so hard. I tried to kiss ass, my boss kicked me out because he feels I'm a threat to his position. And people are all envious there because I rose up in the ranks and I'm now nearly in a position to be in control, the CEO, and they kick me out. Now I'm very, very lonely, And my wife left me. Our house got, was sheriff. I was not able to pay the insurance. My kids, they're all out there. I'm now all alone. The disease of materialism. The symptoms are there. And the barman is sitting there, listening, all ears. And he said, give me another brandy. Okay, there's another strong one, this brandy from Mexico, You drink it, you get knocked down. Knock down the pain in your heart. So you drink. And there's a lot of people that are also drinking, looking at one another, And he drinks and drinks and drinks, Then after that, the barman tells him, after listening all to these empty talks that he's trying to tell, and the barman was able to sell him, a lot of brandies. And he tells me, I think you owe the bar $1,000, And it's time to close. And he has no money and he wants, no, I still want to drink. And then he goes crazy, He goes, wacky and throw all, and try to beat the barman. So what happened is that he gets kicked out by the bouncer. Pick him up, throw him out of the bar, kick him out, call the policeman, bring him to the police station. So these symptoms of materialism, we can see it around. And we will not discuss more about it in our later topic, so we can, but I like to discuss one thing. So when Arjuna was put in a situation wherein he lost his composure, what to do? By nature, he's a warrior, to fight for what is right. And in this case, Lord Krishna guided him. And Arjuna said, ask him, because at that time he lost his composure. Just like someone who wants to cure the disease of materialism, who loses his composure and take shelter of intoxication to numb the mind, to get out of this limbo, to run from this miserable state wherein you cannot run. Because how can you run when you're so conditioned? You're in this body. You cannot run away from your shadow. So Arjuna said, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? And what is his language? How does he sit? And how does he walk? The blessed Lord said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. One who is not disturbed in spite of the threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is not free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So, this is where yoga sound comes from parampara. When one is so diseased, this material virus destroys him. He cannot get out of this misery. But when he comes in contact with the transcendental doctor who teach him how he can become free from this disease, the first basic understanding is about our transcendental nature. I am a different energy from matter. So when a person engages in yoga, meaning union with God, union with God, and the Supreme Person as described in scriptures by Parampara, all the great authorities, is the Supreme Purifier, the cause of all causes. So when we come in contact with the transcendental holy names, it cures us from this disease of materialism. So when one comes in contact with yoga, but because previously our contact is we have become engulfed by this material energy. We have become engulfed by this material virus disease, the influence of Maya or illusion, the three modes of material nature. And how to get out is very hard. So yoga sound comes from our Gurudev, from Krishna himself, the cause of all causes. So when we come in contact with the holy names of God, the first effect is we become purified from this misgiving and misunderstanding, because we come to the point of understanding who we are. Realize, I'm not this body. All the teachings that our Gurudev, the Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, it becomes a reality to us. It's not just theoretical. And not only that, we engage now in our natural transcendental nature connected with the eternal world of yoga, union with God, not touched by this material world. So it's very important association, environment. So the environment now, pandemic, virus are all around, floating around. So now in spiritual life also, we should have association and an environment. And that environment is associating with the saintly person, with his teaching, and to be connected with the cure. And the cure is the transcendental holy names, not different from God, that will purify us from this material disease. And then the state we will be in when we achieve that, when we have this vaccine, transcendental vaccine and medicine, we begin to see who we are. We begin to see the mind, the false ego. We begin to see our body. We become the witness. And now we can realize that everything that we experience in this world, the pain and everything, is connected with this body. And the frustration of looking in the wrong direction is connected with the material desires in the mind. And this conditioning has engulfed us, has covered us. So the sign that a person is getting cured, he can breathe. His breathing is not in this material world anymore. His breathing is connected with his connection with this transcendental world, not touched by this material suffering. And that can be achieved when we have this transcendental vaccine coming from our Gurudev, Parampara, and exemplified by all those who took this path. They are all successful because they're under the guidance of the Supreme Person, protected by Him. He's guided by Him. So when we come in contact with the spiritual master, he gives us this medicine to purify our heart. So I like to tell you a story. To make it very short and concise, I'll be talking, we will discuss more about it. So I'll give you this story. My Gurudev gave an example of this tortoise walking in the desert during the wet season. And he got caught. Now it's summertime and the land, the oasis has become dry. And he's covered by, his body is all covered, this small tortoise is covered by mud. And because of the sun, it has become petrified. So someone who comes, oh, poor little thing, so helpless in the face of all these predators. The crocodiles are there, the impersonalists, the materialists are there, the crocodiles and the boa constrictor ready to eat him. And he's there because his environment is the world of materialism. His friends are like those individuals who are in the bar, the barman. And the medicine are alcohol. And the environment is to forget. Just forget. And become trampled by forgetfulness, not remembering, and ascertaining the problem. You get so drowned by alcohol that numbs the senses, that puts you into this numbness that you cannot even move. You pee on your pants, you poo-poo on your pants, You cannot see, a hard time to walk, So back to the point. This tortoise who's walking, whose body is covered, petrified, the spiritual master comes, poor tortoise. And he gets this, he's bringing a hammer, And the tortoise, what does he do? You're hurting me, But he does not know that this petrified mud that covers him should be taken out so he can walk out of this danger because the predators are all there. The impersonalists, the materialists, ready to eat him, ready to trample him. So it's like this. As a disciple, we come in contact with the doctor. He gives us the medicine. Sometimes it's bitter. When we take the medicine, we get cured. But he gives us instruction. So when I was talking to my Gurudev, he tells me, when you come in contact with Lord Krishna, your spiritual master, he gives you advice. He's not there to placate you. He talks to you and gives you the medicine. And because we have been so conditioned in this world, we're so much attached through playing Lord, to be on our own, to be the guru of ourselves. With so many gurus who have become our masters. And then the spiritual master tells us, you have a problem. This thing happened, everything. I gave you an opportunity to take part in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, but you blew it. Why? You did not follow the instruction. So, as a disciple, when I have come to the point of seeing how displeased my spiritual master is. I should be like this sadhu who always, when being advised, not criticize, reprimand, but that is not in anger. Telling him how to move forward. That sadhu falls down, beg, please don't kick me. Please, he begs, please let me engage. He cries, begging to be protected, to be sheltered by the lotus feet of his Gurudev. So the false ego now, when a person, like this turtle covered with mud, the spiritual master gives him the medicine. In the beginning, there's no taste. Wow, so bitter. I'd rather drink the brandy, And then he should get reprimanded. You did it wrong. You blew it. And because we're thinking we're perfect, we're not lost in this jungle, we think my spiritual master is attacking me. I've been serving for all those years, 30 years, and what do I get? Reprimand. And he gets angry, not seeing that love, that praise by the spiritual master or chastisement is Krishna's love for you. But he feels entitled to be, you're a good boy, You want to be praised. That's the dance of the false ego. And the effect, there's two. The disciple who is chastised and corrected, he feels in his heart remorse. He's embarrassed, he's ashamed, he feels unqualified. He falls down at the feet of his spiritual master. I'm lost, please protect me, please guide me. But when a disciple is so much covered by the false ego, he thinks, you're attacking me. And then his eyes becomes red in anger. And the symptoms, he lives in anger. Or sometimes he tries to argue with the Gurudev. He argues with Krishna. In anger. And some just leave. Walk away. Leave their beads. I don't want to be here. That person, he does not see that the virus of false ego. What is false ego? It is when we are so envious, we are so selfish and self-centered that we have forgotten our true natural position as eternally the transcendental loving servant of God. We have become conditioned to be false Lord, to be false controller. And it made our heart so hard. Just like this turtle, when the spiritual master tries to take off the mud that's petrified, he gets angry. You're hurting me. So when the spiritual master talks to the disciple, we should be very focused in hearing. And that instruction by a Gurudev, either praise, reprimand, chastisement, should be the shelter of our heart and the symptoms that we are making progress from seeing our true ego to be in a transcendental position is that we are able to fall down on our face and beg to experience the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya. So what we're doing, everything, we can check where we are. But when a person is so diseased and covered, he's helpless. So that's why the spiritual master takes care of, this poor little thing. He helps him. But what can he do if he takes off all the mud and everything and he tells him, get out of this environment and go to that right direction, where there are no predators, not this jungle of material world. Get out of this desert There's nothing there. It cannot quench your thirst. Go to the oasis. And that oasis is the eternal world of devotional service. We're longing to have a perfect friend. Loving is inseparable from us. Serving, Sanatan Dharma, real religion is inseparable from us. We should be in wisdom, in knowledge. Hear from our Gurudev, from someone who is a transcendental person, who is in this state. One who is not disturbed in spite of the threefold miseries, who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. So we can see here that the spiritual master is master of his senses. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense object, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is to be considered, understood, as truly situated in knowledge. So we must put ourselves in that transcendental environment and in association with the wisdom instruction of someone who is free, who is the transcendental doctor. Not this person who goes to the bar, or this person when he's asked, stop drinking poison. Stop hitting your head with this hammer. Don't be like a camel. You've been eating thorns for so long that you begin to like the taste of blood, your own blood. Stop drinking your own blood. But so we can check. Everything that is connected with this transcendental science is achievable, provided we take the medicine. And that medicine is the chanting of the holy names. Haribol Namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Tora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna Prasaya.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Tora Karuna Swarupaya, Hare Krishna
Adi Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Madhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Vasudeva Bhaktavrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Madana, Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana 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 Mohana. Hari Krishna, Hari Krishna. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine. Pura Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayante.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa